Well, I started playing football at 14, and the funny thing is my parents didn't allow me to play, so I had to forge their signatures so I could play football. So I went to my first practice, I got beat up, I loved every second of it, took the paperwork home, signed my parents' signature, and then I started practicing with the team for a week. Then my stepdad asked me, "Where have you been every day after school? You're not coming right home." And I said, "You know what, I'm playing football," and that was my freshman year. I was 14 years old. I had an older brother, he's 18 months older than I am. He was kind of the ship that was going through the patch of ice, and he kind of cleared the way for me. So everything that he did, I did the same things basically in life. I always wanted to do them better, and he was kind of my blueprint. But as far as mentors, I never really had a mentor. So I'm kind of backwards. A lot of people love reading books and leadership, and you gotta read this and you gotta do that. And I've always kind of marched to the beat of my own drum and figured things out on my own. I might be a little bit slower, but eventually I get there. I think the one thing that I do really well is I learn from my mistakes rather quickly. So I don't mind that I made mistakes. I consider it tuition. So if I had a business that ever closed down, then that was just tuition. That was education in building my business acumen on what not to do. Now, some people, you have a mentor or you go through different programs and you learn and you spend that time learning, whereas I did it real time and made those mistakes real time instead of learning and then trying to apply it to the real world. I'd go for it, make the mistakes, and then I'd make the proper adjustments to actually do it right the second time around. For me, I didn't make an NFL team until I was cut from 3 teams. So it took me 4 tries to make it. I was cut, they said, "No, you're not good enough." I'd go continue to train. My family believed in me, I believed in myself. Got cut a second time, went to Canada, played in Canada, continued to work on my skills, continued to work out. Cut a third time. Now I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just not good enough, but I'm gonna give it one more shot. So I gave it one more try, I eventually made it, and then I was just tenacious. I didn't care if my team was losing by 100 points. Like, I'm on the field, I'm playing football, I'm living my dream. If we were winning by 100 points, losing by 100 points, I was gonna play the exact same type of football, and that was tenacious because I was here, I made it, whereas other guys were like, "Hey, I'm a first round draft pick," or, I just signed a check for X amount of money. For me, I just wanted to be out there doing what I loved. And the Super Bowl is amazing because it's the #1 spectacle every year that everybody's watching. 1 billion plus people are watching the Super Bowl. There's tons of pressure, there's tons of fun. Everybody's gonna come to that city that you're playing in. So it was amazing. I already played in one and lost, so I know what that felt like. And I really enjoyed when I was in Miami with the Bears playing against the Colts. So I really enjoyed the whole spectacle of the Super Bowl. Then when I was with the Ravens and we were playing in New Orleans, I wanted to enjoy some of, the Cajun and some of the parts about the South and the Creole aspects and the cultural aspects of New Orleans, but I wasn't gonna be out at all the parties. I was gonna be home nice and early, make sure I got good practices in, focusing in on my teammates and making sure my teammates weren't out and doing the damn thing, because I just knew that it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to get there. I was fortunate enough to get there twice. A couple of my teammates like Ray Lewis had been there twice and he went 2-0 in the Super Bowl, but this was my last chance. And I knew it was my last football game that I was ever gonna play in, so the ante was up even higher. So yeah, it was a critical moment for me, and obviously something that I'll never forget and I'll cherish forever. Yeah, it felt amazing. I played in 10 NFL seasons. Of those 10 seasons, I played in the playoffs 7 times. Of those 7 playoff teams, 2 of them went to the Super Bowl and 1 of them we lost. So I only won the Super Bowl once. There's guys that play a whole lifetime, 20 years in the NFL, like a Dan Marino that went to a Super Bowl and lost, and he never got the win. So I was super excited to get the win. But not only did that win make me feel great about football, but the Little League championship that I lost, the basketball championship that I lost, the college championships that we lost, all those all went away when you become the world champion. And I'm not worried about being the Little League champion anymore, not worried about being the college champion anymore. Now that I was a world champ, all that stuff could be put to rest. Yeah, the teams that I played on, being a linebacker and a special teams guy, I always played on teams with really good defense and tenacious defenses. In Miami with Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas and all those guys, tenacious defense. In Chicago with the Bears, Lance Briggs, Peanut Tillman, Brian Urlacher, all those guys, tenacious defense. Then when I got to Baltimore, then we had Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, Haloti Ngata, all these crazy defensive guys, and I got to line up with those guys every day. So that's probably the #1 question that I get asked all the time. What was it like playing with Ray Lewis? And yes, he's everything that's advertised, but he's a better person than he was a football player. And I think that says a lot about him. But every day to go to work and be around Hall of Famers, every day it levels up your game, and you want to be the best that you can be. So it was amazing to be a part of the Ravens organization, an organization that doesn't just believe in football, but just wholeheartedly they believe in people as well. So helped the community a ton. They allowed me the ability to do all the things that I did in the LGBT community and help change laws in the United States. They said, Brendon, always be yourself. If you be yourself, if you're yourself off the field, then you can come on the field and you can focus on your job. So they allowed Ray Lewis to do that, Ed Reed. So it's not a surprise that they had so many amazing people in their organization, players, executives, coaches, from the top all the way to the bottom. People always wonder, like, what's an athlete that played a team sport going to bring to the table, whether it's corporate America or whatever it is that you're doing. And since we are so team driven, it's amazing how well we work with others. When you tell me, okay, this is your assignment, go do it, like, I know that people to the left and the right of me are depending on that. So, I basically have a PhD in team sports, a PhD in teamwork, and I had no idea that people don't have the same accountability. People don't see the team structure the same way that I see it. So I'm so glad that I had that experience and I could take it with me into business. Yeah, I think the best thing my parents ever did for me, they told me if I believed in myself, then I could accomplish anything that I ever set my mind and heart to. Didn't have a lot of money growing up, had some ups and downs, lived in poor neighborhoods, government assistance, but the best thing that my parents did was believe in yourself, and then they believed in me as well. So, now that I have 2 kids myself, I'm always gonna teach my kids. The number one thing I can teach them is always believe in yourself. If you dedicate you dedicate and commit yourself to a task or a goal, then you can achieve it and you can accomplish it. So I just had a tenacious belief in myself and a tenacious appetite for success in whatever it was I did. So I can't say that I've accomplished everything that I've always wanted to accomplish, but as far as the football dream, got to the NFL, became the best player at my position in the NFL, won a Super Bowl, and now I'm here kind of in corporate America and franchising, and I have goals here that I want to achieve as well. So I don't fail too often, but when I do, I take those mistakes, use it as a launching pad to propel me into 2017, into what the next goal is, learn from those mistakes. So really it starts with the foundation at home and what your parents instill in you, and they just taught me just to never give up and always believe in yourself. I would suggest that the most important thing you can do, no matter how old you are, is you have to have a plan. You have to come up with a plan, something that's feasible. So before I made it to the NFL, when I was in high school, I came up with a plan. I didn't get recruited out of high school to go to college, so I knew I had to go to junior college. Then the plan from there was to spend a year or 2 at junior college, earn a scholarship so I could afford to go to college, and then get into the NFL. So even when I was 17, I had a plan to get into the NFL, and that plan didn't come into fruition until I was 23. So you're talking about 6-7 years of planning and working for that goal to happen. But the goal was to make the NFL, then to be the best player at my position in the NFL, and then to win a Super Bowl. And so all those things came to fruition, and of course that took another 10 years as well. But every time you hit a milestone, it's just a little step, baby steps. Celebrate those tiny accomplishments. The tiny accomplishments become big accomplishments. Then the big accomplishments lead to your dreams. But without a plan, you don't really have anything.